And welcome back to Say It As Is with Brandon and Tyler. We got trade deadline stuff. Trade deadline was a couple days ago, so I think it's fair to just rank the each team's trade deadline, talk about a couple of the trades, and then we're going to end with the Skubal stuff because that's still a hot button.
All right, so one thing I got is I just read an article. Apparently, what's going on with Paul Skeens? He's having they're saying he's having a un-Paul Skeens season.
I don't know what's going on with Paul Skeens either. I haven't not read that article yet.
All right, let me read it to you then.
All right, please read it to us.
Okay.
And who is reporting on it?
MLB.
Well, yeah, but who's the specific reporter?
The lineup.
Okay.
It
should yes, I see it.
Yeah.
It's from Travis Sawchek.
Yeah. So it says Skeens is so good that something wrong with him means he's still the 7th most valuable pitcher in the majors.
Yep.
3 factors he highlights is the velocity dip. He's gone from 98.8 in 2024 to 98.2 in 25 and 96.9 in 26. Skeens is a workhorse, less efficiency. Skeens is a workhorse, but he's gotten slightly less efficient compared to the last 2 years. He's not locating his pitches in the strike zone often, down from 51 to 46%. And that leads to not going as deep into games. Skeens is averaging fewer innings per start than he did in 24 and 25. And he's also had some bad luck. Based just on his strikeouts, walks, and quality of contact allowed, Skeens deserve to have better numbers than he does. His expected ERA is 2.93, almost a full run lower than his actual ERA.
Yeah, and you can actually see that by going on like Baseball's Fun, Baseball Reference, or Fangraphs, depending on whoever you prefer to use. Then I see the thing where it's like Stuff Plus metric attempts to isolate quality of of a pitch independent results. He had 110 this year. He's at 98. Bad luck is simply
it's just
thing that it happens, like it does. Yeah, and I'm like scrolling through this. Yeah, like the defense is not helping. Pittsburgh doesn't have the greatest defense out there. They're ranked 22nd this year in defense, and someone tells me he's still like having like elite strikeout to walk ratio and like a Fangraphs WAR of a 3.6.
He's not winning the Cy Young.
No, he's not. Because this year that's going to be Miz, barring unforeseen circumstances.
Right.
But yeah, and they're noticing like fastball spin rates down. Stuff they're probably going to fix during the off season and look at them or go into a pitching lab.
When you said about Miz barring anything that happening, just like when Mooney got hurt and he was supposed to be on track to win the AL MVP and Rookie of the Year.
And then Yordan Alvarez appeared and started doing Triple Crown work.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of what happens. So I'm going to go through. So would you like to go through the grades now?
No, don't go through the grades yet. Let's wait until the end of the season to do that.
No, I mean like trade deadline grades.
No. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Wait until the end of the season and then regrade them.
I mean, yeah, we can go over current grades and how grades change over time too.
Oh yeah, that's true. But no need to go over grades. Everybody knows what fucking happened at this point.
Well, yeah, but it's like, so I saw some where they put Milwaukee like a B minus, and I put Milwaukee as C minus.
Okay, well, let's talk about Milwaukee.
All right. Yeah, so Milwaukee had a overpaid for Dustin May and Jojo Romero, but their argument was they needed to do that by using higher grade prospects that were at risk of being blocked or are being blocked by other players, just to entice St. Louis to trade within the division. Jojo Romero and Dustin May were solid pickups, sure, but again, like not for the price that they ended up giving up.
Hey, you want to talk? Okay, let's go to my team now. Let's go to the White Sox. Well,
Okay.
what are people giving them, and what are you giving them?
I'm seeing a pretty consistent like BB plus across the board, maybe an A minus depending on who you ask. I'm giving them a B plus.
That's probably because the trade they did with Seattle.
Yeah, because that Seattle trade was pretty solid. They definitely needed that. And then they also got a pretty solid reliever and
They also got
and then they got
They also
Doyle.
got
It's
a
like, why do you
couple-
need an outfielder?
they also
And then
got
they just DFA'd Austin Hayes, I think, today.
and they also
Sent like Pereira down to AAA as well.
they DFA'd Hayes.
Yeah, they DFA'd Austin Hayes.
Why?
I don't know. He was on injury, and then they just DFA'd him.
Wasn't he supposed to be one of our like prominent pitchers?
Austin Hayes is an outfielder, my guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
You're thinking of a different guy. No, Austin Hayes is historically has been a reliable outfielder, and he's just in the middle of his career, like on the decline because of like age-related decline and whatnot. But he had some pretty solid years with Baltimore and a couple other teams. And he was like going to be like a clubhouse guy to try to teach the young guys how to like behave, act, and do things.
Yeah, but we have Vassal for that now.
You got Vassal.
We have Vassal with his wizard hat.
Otherwise, like overall, the White Sox had a good deadline. But there's just one thing they forgot to do after the Cubs failed to trade from pivoted.
Yeah.
Like so. Chris Getz, you forgot Detmers. How can you forget Detmers? Like you just had to give a Billy Carlson, William Bergolla Jr., and Dario Inciarte, and
he was
that's
right
it.
about getting.
In,
he was right about getting rid of Dominguez, though.
Yeah, Dominguez is all over the place. Like, don't get me wrong, his numbers show that he's good in non-saved situations.
I mean, we did see him play with Seattle, and he was as dog shit as he was on the White Sox.
Well, it's because he's all over the place. That's why. Like, that's just. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle goes like, dude, no, you're going to have to DFA you or trade you or whatever.
Right.
Because he did fine with Toronto, but
who else was?
Throwing like Chris Murphy and into the Detmers trade, you could get Sam Bachman with the Detmers.
Who else was prominent during the trade deadline?
Oh yeah, you had AJ Preller doing AJ Preller things. Ended up getting Casey Mize and Robbie Ray.
Angels gave some stuff away.
Oh yeah, no, the Angels gave away Joe Adell. They handed Jose Soriano to Toronto. Toronto had a tolerable deadline. The Angels did pretty decently for a deadline. They had like a B grade. That's why I gave them. Cleveland I gave a B plus. Philly got B plus. Seattle I gave like a B plus A minus. St. Louis I thought did decently too.
But hold on 1 second. Let's get to what everybody's been talking about. I will introduce this. Let's get what everybody's talking about. Scott Harris and the fucking Detroit Tigers getting magic beans and a can of whoop ass and a prospect for Tarek Skubal.
Yes. So let's review the package. You had Zaire Hope. Okay, he's a good prospect. I understand he has a lot of potential and a lot of power, right? Yeah. That's a likable prospect. No one's going to complain about that.
Right.
Let's go to the next guy on the list. River Ryan. This guy is about like 2 weeks away from being 28. So he's basically 28, right?
Yeah.
He has gone through, he pitched like a few innings or a few games in the majors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Detroit wanted like major league pitching and outfielders. Okay, that's fine. They know what their need is. Like, that's all fine. But River Ryan, again, is 28. He went through a UCL tear, therefore had the subsequent surgery, had multiple hamstring injuries. So, like, yes, he's talented, but can you rely upon him for not being injured? He sounds like he might be injured for like half the time.
Sounds like Luis Robert Jr.
Literally. And then I forget the 18-year-old wild card in there. They say he's decent, but
it doesn't matter. Why the fuck would you trade Skubal for that?
yeah.
So do you want to also talk about what the Brewers were going to give them?
Oh, I was getting to that, my guy.
All right, go ahead.
So with the like Adam McCalvey, Milwaukee's spokesman for reporting, essentially, beat writer,
Yeah.
had put out a piece and he's like, so Milwaukee did offer a package that involved Luis Pena. Okay, Milwaukee's number 2 prospect ranked, I think 17th in all baseball for prospects, right?
Yeah.
That's a damn good prospect. He is going to be a surefire major leaguer. Well, Zaire Hope has a chance to bust, but at the same time, he's also I think Zaire Hope's going to be a pretty reliable major leaguer as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another top 100 prospect. We have no idea who it is. Another fringe guy who was either just off the top 100 or just barely on. I think it was just barely off that was also offered, but we don't know who those last two are. We're suspecting it's Josh Adamszewski. It could be anyone else. It could have been Josiah Ragsdale, who got traded to St. Louis. We don't know. But Scott Harris kept on going give us Logan Henderson. Give us Logan Henderson. And Matt Arnold goes, no. And then got all butthurt about it. And then other reports says he called Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers himself and said, I want to get the Skubal deal done. But instead of doing that, he could have just pivoted from Henderson over to the Coleman Crow or Robert Gasser. Scott Harris did not do that, and he chose the worst package of the two. Now, it's his right to choose whoever package he likes more. The three prospects Milwaukee offered were all hitters. Zaire Hope has more power. Luis Pena has more contact. Okay, I get it. That's a personal preference thing. No fault to him on that. But Milwaukee sold the better package. You have John Heyman, who puts up how at least one rival executive said, for return of Skubal, Scott Harris and the Detroit Tigers got bupkis.
Yeah, they get bupkis.
They got nothing. There's so many different executives that Milwaukee had the better package. So and then you have the fan reactions, right? You have 4 or 5 groups of you have 4 groups of angry fans, and then one group of baseball fans that are just confused because it was a weird ass trade deadline. You had the group that goes, "Oh, Milwaukee was never going to be able to deal for Skubal. LA was going to have the better package no matter what. LA is number 2 farm system. That is the wrong mindset." Then there was the group that complains about never going all in. Again, you gotta go look for package price and how long do you have the guy? You Skubal would have been 2 months plus playoffs.
Artie Moreno.
Yeah, you think Artie Moreno for Ohtani. But
Dodgers would never be a super team if it wasn't for Artie Moreno. I'm going to say it right now.
Yeah, and then and then the day before the day the trade happened, I was listening to a Detroit sports podcast, and that was more Tigers focused. I was listening to clips from other Detroit media, and what I routinely heard is Scott Harris is a better scout than he is as a GM. Apparently he really Scott Harris really liked River Ryan. Okay, again, he has a lot of talent. But he's not really good at this whole GM / being president of baseball operations thing. And they address this, and what they use for their points is he botched the Eduardo Rodriguez trade. Or Erod trade. I think that's Eduardo Rodriguez. Typing this in quick. Rodriguez. Yeah, and then there was the 2025 deadline where it was just all pitchers that were traded for. Literally, it was a bunch of pitchers. I think what was that list? Like almost like 13 pitchers,
Mm-hmm.
and several of those became busts, and then like others were just overpays. And then you have this. And so if you look at it objectively, you want to wonder if there was some like under the money table or if there's collusion going on to get to confirm the lockout, which was going to happen already in the first place. Then you have the theory that he just wanted to speed up the process because Skubal said he wanted to finish his contract with Detroit and then head to LA during free agency. Well, there's a hard cap system. He's not going to LA anyways during free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just what it is. Anyways, for the other groups of Milwaukee fans, you have the positive one that goes like, okay, so we got two relievers that are pretty solid. I even was like, Sensatella for Milwaukee is pretty good. I personally would have liked John Moore from San Diego, but again, Sensatella is actually pretty good. If you look at his numbers outside of Colorado, they're phenomenal. So that's a good pickup. But there's like besides Dustin May, who else was there? You could have gotten Casey Mize and a few others, and there's like variations of like the four groups, like so, and then you have the more neutral group. So it's like, yeah. My brain is still like the White Sox could have gotten A grade if they would have just grabbed Detmers. The Mets had a good deadline. Toronto, they thread the needle correctly. Detroit did not. But anyways, I gave Milwaukee a C-. Now, you know who really failed the deadline besides Detroit? Texas. What did Texas do?
Texas did fuck all.
Yeah, Texas did nothing. Now, another team that did as badly as Detroit, I would argue, is Boston. Now, people were arguing like, oh, no, Boston had a good deadline. They traded for Adley Rutschman. I go like, Adley Rutschman's a good catcher, sure. But if you look at how much Boston gave up, they paid 2 times what Rutschman is worth. And then on top of that, Craig Breslow had said, I'm going to also trade Marcelo Meyer, who was previously untouchable. Gives them to San Francisco and Buster Posey. And Marcelo Meyer, sure, he has injury history. He has a lot of talent. He's a lot better than what Boston got returned. Marcelo Meyer is in his early 20s. And the guy that got in return, I believe, was an outfielder. So, like, outside of one trade that Boston did, all the trades they did were overpays. Like, how is that considered a good deadline? Like, Tyler, can you explain this to me?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah. Now the Yankees, I gave them like a C plus. They never really moved the needle. Washington had a solid deadline, not the greatest. Minnesota, same thing. They just got a bunch of relief help and Dean Kramer. Pittsburgh had a pretty good deadline. They needed bullpen help. They definitely got their bullpen help. Cleveland did a lot of improvement. Philly is trying to do one last push before they have to rebuild because they're aging out. Same thing with Houston. Houston gets hot, and they are Houston, and I gave them C-. So, a lot of these, Atlanta didn't do much, so I gave them a D+. But a lot of these, like outside of like the Cubs, who did wonders for what they need to do, they got an A-. Baltimore A- because of what they did to Boston. In general, like San Diego, I gave B/AJ Preller. They get a grade of AJ Preller because AJ Preller does AJ Preller things. Tampa I thought did pretty decently. I forget to grade them. There's a chance I might have forgotten to grade them because it is Tampa. Tampa does Tampa things. I think I forgot to grade Tampa. Yeah, I totally forgot. Grade Tampa. I grade them Tampa. Give them the greatest of Tampa Bay. Enough said. Colorado, I gave a D. It's Colorado.
Yeah.
But that's
pretty much
what I
it.
got for the grades.
That's pretty much it. We went over everything.
Yeah, that's everything. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, YouTube, and on.
Just read the description.
Yeah, just read the description. Oh, like you can we're Substack. That's where you can also listen. Otherwise, the socials are what's in the description. So, until next time, bye.